Life Her Podcast.
Hey, you.
Her is me, her is you. Her is us, her is she, her is we. United we stand, baby, that hurt for keeps. I'm coming and I demand my space, I know it's free. I owe myself the world, they tried to count me out. I've been down some dark roads, they tried to pound me out. From cloudy to sunny, ain't think that I would make it out. I needed positive emotions to fill me out.
Hi, everyone. This is Life Her Podcast, Yvette Lloyd. I am here with Leslie LePage. Hi, Leslie. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I am doing good. So I've read a few things about you, and I love everything that you're doing, how you are inspiring and uplifting women and just giving them a whole spotlight of everything that's going on in film and documentaries, animations, web series, commercials, music videos. You're doing it all.
Oh my gosh. You know, and we've been doing it, and I've been doing it before it was cool. So
Yes.
so we got bloody up against the fighting up against the establishment way before things started changing. So it's nice to see that we are making some inroads. We still got a ways to go.
Oh, yes, definitely. So before we actually get into the today of what you're doing, could we start in the beginning on how did you start even just being interested in something so major like this? Because this is so important, and obviously you have a passion about it. So what brought you to have a passion about something like this?
Well, I am a woman of color. Although my skin is very, very light for being a Spanish woman, Latina. And because of that, I had a lot of reverse discriminism within my own community, which was ironically interesting. And going up through the ranks of film and television and working at the studios and working as an independent all over the world and all over the planet, I was looking at really how women are being portrayed, not only in film and television, but also behind the scenes as content creators. And so a group of us were sitting around that other festival that is in Utah in a blizzardy, snowy day at a coffee joint that is a known franchise. And I said, we've got to do something. We have got to change the planet.
Wow,
because, right? I just didn't know the gravity of what I was saying because I was young and naive. And I said, let's change the planet. And let's do a film festival that supports our own, because we're here at this other festival and they don't have a lot of content created by women, and nor have they for many, 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 many years. So let's do it where we support our own. And they all said, yes, let's do that. And I said, who's on board? And they go, oh, well, I'm pregnant. I have to write something. I have to, I'm producing something. It's so overwhelming. And I'm like, you wimps. So foolishly, oh my gosh, like my life, foolishly, I said, well, I'm going to do it no matter what. And so in 2005, I did it no matter what.
Wow.
And after putting names down on a little napkin at this coffee joint, I said, La Femme, that's it. The woman, LA woman, the woman, double entendre. Let's go with that. And I moved forward in 2005 and created this festival that supports women producers, writers, and directors worldwide, of color, of sexual diversity, ethnic diversity, content creators. And it has been a wacky, wonky ride. 2009, economy goes belly up.
Yes.
2020, the entire world goes belly up. and yet we keep chugging along, and we are going into our 17th year. I have done this thing when I'm doing films. I've done this thing pregnant. I've done this thing after being pregnant.
Wow.
I have done this thing every which way you could possibly do this festival, and every year I say I'm never doing it again, and every year I get sucked back in. It's like the mafia. I can't get out.
Yes, indeed. I love that you just have that passion, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm tired, but okay, let's get back to it.
Exactly. I'm tired. And but the mafia doesn't let you out, right? So
Right, definitely not.
so I get sucked back in every year of going, oh my God, you're like the best festival I've ever attended. And, do you know how hard, how long, how many years I've tried to get into this festival? And you guys are amazing. Your seminars are great. And somehow I listen to that and then I do it again.
Yeah, do it again. So with everyone knowing that you do this festival, what is the background of it for you to prepare for it and get it together, networking, promotions, video promos, everything? Like, it's a lot of work. So
It's
could
it's
you
a
give
huge amount
somebody
of work. It's a
yeah,
huge amount of work. It's a yearly effort. I, there's two different versions. There's the pre-COVID version, and then there's the post-COVID version. The pre-COVID version, we were completely on ground, and it was and is a super high-end boutique festival known worldwide. Post-COVID, that branding stamp has, increased really globally with a, 1.8 million reach that we have in the community of filmmakers, which is awesome. This
yes,
year, in 2020, we went completely virtual. This year, we're doing some sort of a virtual, limited, on-ground, footprint, only because the COVID situation is still so volatile and things are so changing so rapidly. We had to not go back fully integrated into an on ground. But even moving forward, I think what the film festivals and what I have learned through this experience is film festivals moving forward are really going to be hybrids, no matter what that hybrid looks like. Because we can offer that exposure to content creators worldwide, especially when we are a super high-end boutique festival that specializes in women content creators, writers, producers, and directors. And so we're fairly lucky in that is our target. And we were the first in Los Angeles. We are still the biggest and the best. A lot of people have come in after us trying to duplicate what we do, but we are so fast and furious that they can't catch up, which is lucky for us. And there was one, actually, I think, film festival somewhere in the United States prior to us with a really small footprint, so we've kind of blown them out of the water as well, which I count myself very lucky to be able to say that. But this is a full-time craziness. I also have a family. My son is an actor.
oh wow.
I teach film. I produce. I just finished producing a TV show. We've got 2 other films that we are slated to produce next year. So my plate is full, and this festival is a full-time thing to launch on behalf of supporting women content creators. If equality truly existed in entertainment, then I would stop this film festival saying, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I've succeeded, I'm done. But unfortunately, quality is not quite there yet.
Right.
And so this festival is super important because we give voices to the content creators that don't have voices in this really targeted boutique festival.
So why
We
why
also
is it, oh sorry. Why
no.
is
We
it
also
so okay.
why is what?
Like why is it so difficult for women in Hollywood? Like what makes it so difficult? Because they always give us a hard time in many things, but like and a lot of people don't know the difference, like as far as film and how it is in the background in Hollywood and how hard women have it. And I've heard some horror stories on how women could have to try to make it forward or not. Could you give us some insight on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's miserably hard, and abuse and abuse towards women is still there and has been for many, many years. It's a little bit more, how should I say, it's lessened a bit, but it's also become more covert over the last 3 to 5 years because of the certain movements that are out there, but it hasn't dissipated. And I've gone through, I could tell you stories. I can't on the radio, but I could privately tell you stories
Right.
of things, right? And
Hmm.
so I think primarily the reason it's been such a struggle is that the boys in the industry and the boys of power, the men of power, don't want women to play in that field. And so inherently, they suppress us for that ability. Now, I'm making a general statement. Not all guys are bad. There
Right.
are fabulous guys that are working in the entertainment industry that believe in equality, and those guys, you are wonderful. But there's, a chunk that don't want women to play because they want to keep the power to themselves. And unfortunately, that has been historic since the dawn of the creation of the five major studios, which were created by what? Men. So it hasn't really, altered a bit. And in the 1960s, when the auteurs, the male auteur filmmakers, started going into their own power and telling their own stories, the woman's story that was being told in the 1940s when all the guys were fighting World War II had, you know, decreased, right?
Right.
Um, so we have to look at historically, how women have been navigated, and the only thing we can do, and this is not about not having men play, right, or not playing well with men. This is just about giving women the opportunity that their talent justifies and allowing us to have an equal opportunity to demonstrate that talent. And that's really all what this festival is about. It's not about saying, oh, guys are bad, because I love men, and I love male filmmakers, and I love male executives. That's not the issue. It's about just changing the demographic, the percentages within the industry, so we can see more equality and get more of our authentic stories out there.
Right. And it's so important that you are doing this because um you've been doing this for 17 years, but it's still women that really don't know that you are out there as well, because sometimes they just give up and they just really don't want to search for anything. And I've known plenty of women that's in film and do all of these things that you support. And I am definitely going to let them know about this because I'm sure they have no clue. And it's so good that you're doing this because I've I've seen a lot of people just like, no, I just don't want to do this no more. I can't get no further. It's always something. And I'm definitely gonna have them reach out.
Good. I hope you do, and I hope you have them reach out and attend the festival either virtually or on the ground at the Regal Cinemas October 14th through the 17th in downtown Los Angeles, 1000 West Olympic Boulevard, for those that want to come on down and buy a ticket. In fact, we've got a great incentive because we are trying to help motivate um, theater goers, audience goers back into the theaters. We are offering $5 to come see a short film and $8 to come see a feature film.
Oh, cool.
Dirt cheap because we want to make it available for everyone to swarm to the theaters, put their little masks on, and sit there and watch these wonderful independent films from these content creators, these female content creators.
Wow, I bet that is amazing. I might
It's
have to play myself.
yeah, and we've got it. And for those that don't want to put the mask on and come to the theater, and you're still a little too shy to venture out with the land of COVID, then those prices are also virtually online. In fact, you can see over 100 films, at a very, very low virtual price of like $19.99 virtually, and sit home and just gorge on docs and features and shorts and web series and animation and music videos and all those lovely, crazy things that we offer.
Wow. So I also see that you line produce BET and different original programs such as did promo commercials with HBO, Lifetime
Oh, yeah.
TV,
Yeah.
Nickelodeon. Tell me about your experience with that.
Well, um, I started off as a kid actor and then migrated into behind the scenes. And when I was behind the scenes, I just had a tendency to be pushed into higher responsibility positions, as I went from feature to feature or, content to content creation. And worked my way up the ranks and became a UPM line producer, which I still do for hire for those that want to bring me on. But primarily, I'm producing, a creative producer at this point. And so a lot of my career was really assembling those elements, which I think makes me a little different than most of the festival administrators, founders, or directors out there because I have physical production experience.
Mhm.
The running of the festival is really a smooth operation because of the physical production experience I have, whereas a lot of those content creators don't, have that. And then just being able to, we sell films as well into distribution. So I have an eye for what is commercially viable to be bought and sold by distribution company, which is also another asset that I think we offer the festival does that a lot of festivals aren't able to offer. So, we're fairly lucky that way, that we can help women content creators more openly and transparently than other festivals. But of course, my experience working at BET and working at some of the other studios and creating content only, adds to the support mechanism that we try and give to the filmmakers here at the festival.
Okay. That's amazing that you've done all of that. And it helps women to have an insight on things that you can give them information at least privately, because I know some things you really can't say on here.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good that you have so much experience to a point you can give them the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I can so give every version and every shade, every every shade of gray on that.
Yes.
Most of which I can't say on the radio. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and that's really good. So could you tell me about the film that you were I believe you line produced it, Night Rain?
Oh yeah. So Night Rain was actually one of the filmmakers who had screened at the film festival had reached out to me after they had screened and said, would you come aboard and help facilitate this? I agreed, and so I went ahead and assisted in getting this film made for this particular filmmaker. We've now kind of, which was an interesting experience because it has to do with the Black Dahlia and that murder that occurred in
Yeah.
downtown LA, and so it was really a local story, right? A local Hollywood vintage story that was really never played out in the new information that this particular filmmaker was able to discover through candid interviews with uh, people who knew the gal and knew the history that never were exposed in more studio content. So
Right.
it was an interesting artistic venture for this, and
Okay.
it was fun. We've now moved. We actually have an incentive where we are looking at taking the aspiring filmmakers and or unproduced screenplays, and then looking at getting those produced with producing partners moving into the future as one of the incentives to help boost up that content creation. So we're in the process of bringing in those partners to lock that down for our filmmakers.
Okay, that's nice. So tell me about your pre-production of Coming Out for Love.
Oh, so Coming Out for Love, I was brought in as an executive producer on that TV show being created by Nicole Kahn. It is the version of like The Bachelor, but with an LGBT hook for women loving women in that community. We just finished shooting it, and keep your eyes out. You'll see it hopefully in 2022.
Okay,
So
first.
yeah. So I am actively a producer. I'm actively creating content. I have other content and other partners that we're working on for other features, as I said. But really, I think the future goal is to bring in more opportunities for women globally, and I have a couple of ideas on how to facilitate that, and we'll see if I can swing it.
Right. So tell me, what advice could you give a woman that's coming up in the film and that thinks about giving up sometimes? What advice could you give her?
You can't give up. You can't ever give up, because everyone, even family members who love you, who say they love you, will tell you to give up. It's too hard. It's a struggle. You can't succeed. You have a certain ethnicity. Your skin is a certain color. Whatever the excuses, or your educational background isn't there, or you don't have any opportunities or any ins into the industry. If you buy into that point of view, then guess who wins? Not you. They do. And they are telling you this so that they can be more in power than you. And what women have a tendency to do is eat their power. But in fact, we are powerful. We are the only people that can give birth. We are multitaskers, inherently better than men, and we are able to navigate personalities, for the most part, better than men, because we as family archetypes have to do so within the family structure: children, husband, friends, extended family, etc. And so because we are navigators of that social dynamic, we have to not let people say no to us and
Right.
allow that to sink in. We have to say, no, I'm sorry, that's great, you have that opinion, that's fine, but you keep that opinion, because women have to believe in who they are, and they can't get stopped. If you get stopped, just know you're allowing the other person to win, not you.
Okay, that's the truth. Seriously, you know, not giving up is something that shouldn't be a option for us women, but we do need to take time out to heal and rethink, regroup, reboot, and get ourselves together to keep pressing forward. And even just us having accountability partners of friends and everything. Do you have accountability friends that hold you accountable and motivate you?
I do. I do have a very long time girlfriend, which I do check in, going, just check me and make sure that I'm on point. And she's very how should I say? She's very real, grounded, of the
Nice.
earth, and completely separate than the entertainment industry. So her viewpoint is grounded in equality and and logic, which is really nice. It isn't influenced by the entertainment glitz and glamour and pixie dust.
I know exactly what you mean.
Well,
Just like
I mean, I could go to some friends that are in the entertainment industry, but what I found is, all their comments are slanted by the pixie dust. You know, I've always, gravitated to this person who isn't in the industry that says, "Come on, really, really."
Mhm. Yeah, the voice of reason.
Exactly, the voice of reason that isn't influenced by, oh my gosh, the Hollywood shuffle.
Yes, definitely. Um, I have one good question, and I know most
Hmm.
people would want to know this. What is one of your worst experiences?
In life or on a film set?
Film set. Film set.
On a
Not
film
like
set, oh my gosh, I did this film, I can't even say the name, in India, and I was, oh my gosh, it was the one of the most, I should say the, because another thing has been the worst. So this is like second to worst production I have ever been on, in the challenges fighting against, just the persona of how women are treated in that particular emerging country at that time. And this is, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And that was a huge challenge, um, working around that point of view on their perception of women on a film set. So that was very, very challenging, very
yeah.
ugly. Yes. Um, on the more recent front, one of the worst experiences was working with this particular filmmaker, who turned out to be just, um, super, super unorganized, super dispersed, super unfocused, and that made that experience just a challenge to navigate through. So, you know, but each time I grow, I get better. I go, that was a mistake. Never do that again.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. And what I do try and do is I don't buy into insanity. So I don't duplicate. Like if it's that miserable, I go, oh, note to self, never do that again. And then I don't.
Yes.
So I don't go down that path of repeating that same mistake, thinking that there's a better outcome, because there isn't. So note to self, do not work with crazy filmmakers.
Yes. So another thing is, what do you do on your free time? Like basically for yourself. Because sometimes you need time out for yourself and get away from everything. What do you do?
I go to the beach. The beach is a happy zone for me. So a walk on the beach, a walk with my poochie dog on the beach, a stroll collecting shells on the beach or sea glass, puts me to a happy place. And so that's that's where I release, some of this angst that can accumulate through dealing with personalities that are challenging, difficult, or unreasonable.
Yes, definitely. So could you let everyone know how could they purchase tickets?
Sure. Okay. So I want everyone to come on down to the Regal Cinemas in downtown Los Angeles, October 14th through the 17th, to view films there. You can buy a ticket on the spot, show up and buy a ticket on the spot and see that. If you want to see what our programming is, either to purchase virtually or on the ground, go to lafemme.eventive.org/welcome, and you will see all our schedule, film guide, buying passes, individual passes, etc. And we have 6 amazing seminars this year for those that really want to have an understanding and get educated in film and television. First panel is designing your short as a proof of concept to secure a deal. Next panel is what makes a saleable script or a TV show. Third panel is the do's and don'ts of pitching in the Zoom environment. The fourth one is distribution. How do you get the money? Who's buying what for the indie filmmaker? And then panel 5 is the Writers Guild of America is presenting IP and true stories, how to get in on this in television and film in the ongoing trend. And then Sony Pictures is presenting our last panel, which is the Path to Yes. These are amazing panels. You can see them virtually or in a screening party, so to speak, on ground. Again, everything is available on the Eventive platform, which I'll give that link out again. It is lafemme.eventive, eventive.org/welcome, and you will find us over 100 films, seminars, and just a wealth of information.
Yes, I see. I really like the pass to yes. I like that. I like
the Path to Yes at Sony. Yeah, it will be amazing. They're bringing in some super powerful women executives over at Sony. They're very good at hiring women, and they will be on this panel really talking about what and how you can get that yes in general.
Wow, that is amazing. Like, I may not know you personally, but I would like to tell you, just me being a woman, I am so proud of you. I am so happy that you are doing something like this and that you haven't given up and you're still going. But I really appreciate you for doing this because it means a lot. It really does.
Thank you. That's super kind of you to say that. Sometimes I live in a vacuum and I don't hear that. I just keep trudging on, hoping that at some point when I die, people will, come to the grave going, well, at least she did this for us.
Right.
At least she did this for the womankind.
Yes. And I actually know that feeling due to many things that I've done in my personal life, and I felt it was a need for me to tell you that because when we're busy and we're doing so much as women and we're giving and giving, we don't hear no good along the way. we don't hear much. So it's like we have to embrace and give the women their flowers now because you don't want it to be too late, and you want another woman to feel good about herself of what she's doing, and you are doing it.
Thank you. Well, that's also part of the film festival that we do. We honor a celebrity every year, and this year we're honoring America Ferrara at the award ceremony because I have found that women aren't validated, and so I try and earmark truly special professionals, directors, producers, actress, hybrids of all sorts in the entertainment industry that I feel have not really gotten their validation. So this year we are gifted with being able to honor America Ferrara on October 17th at the Regal Cinemas.
That is really good. I appreciate you so much for such an informative interview. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you. I enjoyed our conversation, and I wish you nothing but success in your event with over 150 films made by women. I That is just amazing, and I know it's going to be great. Just getting better every year.
It's doing something every year, but yes. I just want to make it through the COVID craziness. If we can survive past that and level the playing field, that would be awesome. So everyone, check us out again at the Regal Cinemas, October 14th through the 17th. Come on down and purchase a ticket and come see some films. You can see the screening guide at lafemme.eventive.org/welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Life Her Podcast, where we help heal women all over the world. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Life Her Podcast, and check out our YouTube page as well. And make sure you subscribe. You can also look onto our website and you can purchase merchandise and listen to the podcast episodes. I am Yvette Lloyd. I am Life Her. Love yourself, ladies. Take care of yourself and others you love dearly.